Namaste all. Aging is not merely the passage of time. It is an art of living wisely. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna reminds us, Vasasi jirnani yatha vihaya, navani gruhani niroparani, tatha sharirani vihaya jirna, nya anyani sanyati navani dehi. Just as human beings sheds their old clothes and shed out their clothes and don a new attire, Atma, the soul, shades an old and worn out body to don a new body. Bharata wisdom teaches us that true longevity is not just about adding years to the life, but adding lives to year through balance, resilience, and inner harmony. Today, as we breach the ancient and modern, let us rediscover the timeless secrets of vibrant and meaningful life. I welcome you all in the session of Healthy Aging and Longevity, Bridging Ancient Indian Wisdom and Modern Science. I will request Sri Vaidya Kotecha sir and Sri Shrikant sir to start the new session. I will request Professor Bhushan Patwardhan, a distinguished academician with over 4 decades of experience in higher education, biomedical research, and institutional governance, to start his lecture. Keynote address.
Thank you, Dr. Madhumati, for that great beginning. Listening to Gita uh, in the beginning of the session means a lot, and it sets the tone also. Uh, I am actually overwhelmed by this conference for several reasons, because this subject is being discussed at one of the most revered temple of knowledge in this country, uh, in a hall named after the most revered philanthropist, visionary, and business person of India, Bharat Ratna Tata, and in presence of people who have actually shaped the recent knowledge paradigm in our country. Because Indian Institute of Science establishing something in medicine, that itself is a major bold step. And I congratulate Professor Bhatt and Professor Swaminathan for this initiative. I am equally overwhelmed by the presence of Ayurveda luminaries here. Because this is the true confluence of modern and ancient wisdom in this very hall. The very presence of Secretary Rajesh Kotecha speaks quite a lot. The way in which our government is looking at this seriously, and the kind of vision Prime Minister Narendra Modi is giving to really encourage, recognize and encourage our own strengths, and without compromising the rigor of science, how to bring them back, and emerge as a new scientific leadership for the world. You know. At one time, India had this kind of a leadership, thought leadership, and this is a time, Amrut Kal, we are trying to really regain that, and seeing all this before start talking about the subject, I thought that I must mention about this. I am going to just try to present my own views. I do not do direct research in aging or longevity. I'm basically a biochemist. Went into integrative health, and my school in Pune is a public health school essentially, which is engaged in research on Ayurvedic sciences for a very long time. Our main focus is on immunology and personalized medicine. Personalized medicine aspect, of course, when Dr. Bhavana is going to talk about it later. I'm not going to speak on the research, so you may not find research data in my presentation, but I'll speak about some of the thoughts and some of the approaches which will be very important as we progress. Let me start with what is happening, and I'm sure all of you who are working in this are aware of various approaches. But let me start with the humor first, because we say that science should not really work in isolation. Science to me is incomplete. Kavya Shastra Vinod. That's what we say. You scientist has to have all the dimensions of these facets. That only makes him or her. So look at Woody Allen. All of us have seen Woody Allen, but I don't know if you've seen the quote of Woody Allen. He says that I want to achieve it, but through not dying. And the extreme is look at Brian Johnson. He's saying, don't die at all. Why you have to die? And as we progress, I will just touch upon that a little more. So first, before we go to aging, actually, let's try to know the current status. Current status, if you look at the last couple of decades, and especially after the establishment of UN bodies, we have been going in circles. Means earlier we started talking about uh, Earth as a center in 1972, and sustainable development was the term at that time, first time it was used. And One Health also was kind of a concept at that time, which emerged. And Health for All, we all know that slogan. We talked about it. Then in 1992, WHO realized that isolation about health is not possible. We have to get connected, and people will get connected more when we talk about importance of protecting environment for their health. Therefore, health and environment as a discipline, our planet, our health, was a Commission's very important report, which was released in 1992, followed by Millennium Development Goals. All of us have known it. And our targets also were known at that time. And obviously, we could not achieve those targets, so we have to really revise that in a new form, which became Sustainable Development Goals in 2030. Most of the goals were almost same, but then we were postponing the deadlines, and so we got trapped into this kind of a circle. We are back to One Health again, and we are also back to Health for All again during last year. So, but have we really progressed? That is the question. From primary health care to universal health coverage, from Millennium Development Goals to Sustainable Development Goals. Now it's really time to retrospect, reimagine, and reform. And when we are talking about universal health coverage in India, universal health coverage is possible only when healthcare is aligned to our own culture and tradition. I am also a member of Lancet Citizen Commission, and our report is almost getting ready now. Most probably in next 2-3 months, you will find it published in Lancet Main. In that also, earlier, the awareness or the interest in even using term integrative or even using term Ayush was not that enthusiastic. But then I realized when you engage with people, when you talk to them, when you engage with them, many times this opposition comes because of the ignorance or because of the unavailability of authentic information. And when you try to fill up this gap, the situation changes. That's what has happened. And you'll see when the report comes in, you will find Ayush also is visible in the report now. In the age of AI, ML, VR, CRISPR, and also space missions. So technology-wise, we are really advancing tremendously. And at the same time, we are witnessing a great disconnect. We are already in Anthropocene. In 2020, Nature published a landmark paper in which they showed that the total weight of human-made mass has exceeded than the natural biomass. That means the total weight of plastic and concrete, etc., is much more now than total weight of flora and fauna on this campus. It's a very serious. So Nature announced that now we are formally in Anthropocene. Although it is still, people are debating, forget about the debate, but it's true that we are living in Anthropocene today. But we are also experiencing so many challenges today, and aging, stress and mental health is one of the major challenge that we are facing. At the same time, there is great potential also. We can't just talk about the great disconnect, but great potential. And in the great potential, we can not forget the legacy and the knowledge base which we have, which we can use to address these challenges. And most importantly, the confluence of modern science and ancient wisdom can really bridge this gap. We are indeed facing existential threat of greed. And if you have read Jama had actually written excellent article on this particular aspect, wherein the greed of where the greed is taking about. I'm not going to discuss about that now that explain, but we have to ask this question, who is driving our science? Whether the science is driven by business, whether it is driven by profits, or whether it is driven by people's need or what nature wants. So these are the questions we have to really ask, and we have to act before it is too late. To me, and I have really elaborated this point in two of my books. One book is Integrative Approaches for Health, which is published by Elsevier Academic Press, and the other is a very recent book, Genome to Om: The Evolving Journey of Modern Science to Meta Science. Uh, to us, the extreme specialization which we are facing today, extreme commercialization, are the root causes of what we are experiencing today as a medicalized society. I thought of mentioning this especially at IIC in presence of both of you, because we need role models to come out from this. And I genuinely believe that this effort which you have undertaken would emerge as a role model to change the entire environment in our country for good. Because we are following someone, where that failure already has been established. And Dr. Swaminathan comes from Mayo Clinic, so I need not really speak about, but still this example, what you see, and therefore I like to take example from US because we follow them blindly. And their model is outdated. Flexner report, the kind of fallout of that report, if you study, and we have studied that, it did wonders, means for MD, PhD programs focusing on research, but it also did a lot of harm, which today is very much visible. And the same thing is happening. If every MBBS student in our country aspires, to only aspiration is to appear for NEET and get into specialization or super specialization. Is this a model for India? If every, and I always say that when a cardiologist or neurologist reputation can be achieved by a family physician, that day India will go nearer to the public. So taking example of again America, CDC's recent report is telling you that 60% of the school going girls, we are talking about aging, but I'm giving you example of young girls. 60% of young girls, school-going girls, are feeling hopeless in America. Whom are we following is a question. Out of them, almost 40% have attempted suicide. They have attempted some kind of a substance abuse. What is this? What kind of a model, healthcare model we are trying to follow? And on other side, if you look at top journals, medical journals, Lancet, BMJ, NEJM, all of them are expressing concerns of medical overuse today. And they are saying less is better. If you give less medicine, it will be more effective. So these are the situations. So can business or profits linked to sufferings of people, is it going to be sustainable? Is another question I want to raise. If pharmaceutical industries think and plan that let more and more people feel sick, or if doctors pray that more and more people fall sick so that our business, this is not sustainable model. So prevention, public health, this should be the driving forces for country like India. And that's what Ayurveda or Ayush systems have been talking about. Prevention has been their main concern. Today we are living in a healthcare, and I'm not going to talk about this more, but we talk about healthcare, but are we really giving healthcare is a question. We are giving sick care. And not only sick care, we are not stopping even by giving sick care. We have converted this healthcare into health scare. We are actually scaring people, and we are not even stopping at health care. We have created health scams, which we closely saw during COVID-19 period. Health scams. Drugs which were proven to be ineffective were sold in black market. That's what we all of us have witnessed. So we are in a medicalized society which question mark is big question mark is put there regarding ethics and the evidence levels. So health and aging, now coming back to this, health, we should first talk and think about what do we mean by health, because we are using health as synonym to medicine. I talk to you about health, but in most of our minds we start thinking about medicine, because we have been pushed in such a way that we think that by taking medicine we will get health. In India, we have outsourced our health to doctors. Doctors are there and they are required, when you fall sick. There is no question about it. But protecting health is our own responsibility. We can't outsource. It's too precious to be outsourced it to the doctors. Health, not medicine. Medicine is important. Again, I'm telling, medicine is important, but losing health is not really the option for that. And health is determined only by 4 factors. Only by 4. We teach this in our public health course first day. That these 4 determinants of health, most of them are in our hands, excepting maybe genetics, which is to some extent we can. But lifestyle, nutrition, these are completely in our hands. We have to decide which path we are going. Third is environment. We can't do much when we are driving on Bangalore roads, the pollution is there, but we can definitely do something to reduce it. But are we really giving due consideration for these is the question, And definition wise, if you look at WHO definition of health, which we have contested, we think that WHO definition of health is also one of the reason for medicalization, because the definition of health, if you dissect, then you will find a word called well-being. Now, well-being is what is well-being? We don't know. We can't really measure well-being. And principle in management is what you can measure, you can manage. Now here we can measure pathology. So our entire focus is on pathology. Health reports. All of us once a while we go, even before getting employment, we have to go do health checkup. But what is health checkup? Is it a health checkup? It is a pathology checkup. It is not health checkup, because there are no health parameters for checking. How do you know that? But look at this figure. This is the Ayurveda way of health assessment. Dashavidha Pariksha, that's what they call it as. There are Ayurvedic experts who are going to talk, so I'm not going to talk about that aspect. But these are the way in which you can really, and Ayurveda based health hallmarks, if we are able to really establish, that will give leadership for the discipline, and that also will give you the key probably for addressing the issue related aging. This is a landmark paper. Miss, if you tell me that rate top 10 papers in last decade, this will be one of the papers published in Cell. I don't know how many of you have, but and Rajesh ji, when you will read this paper from Cell, you will, many of the paragraphs you will actually feel that you are reading Charak Samhita. With such a language they have used, and the hallmark of health is really a continuation of these people's work, which was hallmarks of aging. Hallmarks of aging was published in 2013, and hallmarks of health was published in 2021. Same Cell journal, one of the most reputed journal, they could publish it. So modern science approach to potential causes of aging. Most of you here sitting are experts in this, so I'm not going to talk about it. But there are several mechanisms now known, very well known, and the center, Professor Bhatt is involved. They are all looking closely with most of them, But there are Ayurvedic approach also to health. and Ayurvedic approach to aging. I'm not using the Ayurveda term here. Again, those Ayurvedic experts who will be speaking after me, they will be discussing about it. But age-wise, as you progress, what kind of faculties are compromised? Very beautifully explained by Ayurveda. When we are born, we have kapha is predominant. As we progress, pitta gets predominant, and at the end, fag end, vata gets predominant. So how can we balance, how we are able to balance vitiated doshas during these periods, and how by doing that you can really control aging? That's the Ayurvedic principle essentially, if you talk about aging. Recent, not very recent, means just December 2014. So relatively recent paper in JAMA. You know what that paper is showing is a growing gap between health span and lifespan. Simply. They have used a huge data, so it's a very good paper. And in the beginning, Dr. Madhumati mentioned about adding life, you know, to years, which is what this paper also is telling. But just extending lifespan is not enough. The what quality? I mean, I have seen, and many of the doctors, they have also must have seen that people on deathbed, you are prolonging their life. Now, what is the quality of your life? And even what people in deathbed, people on day-to-day life, who are suffering from diseases like diabetes, what kind of life they have? We are telling them to get pricked for 4 times in a day. What kind of quality of life we are trying to give them. So this is the problem which exists today, and I feel that the solutions for this problem will come when we integrate both the strengths of modern science, the strengths of modern medicine, not modern medicine, I would like to call it as a conventional medicine. And I believe that when conventional medicine will work with ancient sciences or Ayurvedic sciences or Ayush, then it will become modern medicine. It is not modern medicine today. It is conventional medicine or allopathic medicine. It will become modern when you will go along with Ayush. And today I see Ayush and conventional and science together. Actually, this picture you should take somebody. Madhumati, you can take this picture. Ayurveda sitting at the center. On one side you have modern science, on the other side you have conventional medicine sitting here. So healthy aging and longevity. What are the best predictors of longevity? Is it cholesterol? Is it blood pressure? Is it insulin resistance? No. The best predictor of longevity is quality of your relationships. Quality of your relationships, so profound. And this is actually in Harvard University's not recent, 2 years back, Century Summit, in 2022, this was said. And there are so many possible interventions people are looking at, which this center must be looking very closely, be it stem cell or tissue regeneration or CRISPR, or even drugs like rapamycin or metformin for that matter, or many commercial organizations, including Calico, Altos Labs, Sense Research, or Blueprint. Blueprint is Brian's, very, very ambitious thing. I don't know. I would like to talk to Professor Bhatt sometime later. What is that happening? But the people are now considering aging as a disease, and they say because it is a disease, it is curable. And could be, but is it a disease? Means these are the questions which come to the mind. In this book, we have discussed the aging and the Ayurvedic aspect of, or Ayurveda and Yoga aspects related to aging very, very elaborately. Ayurveda offers personalized holistic care addressing individual constitution. The Prakriti, what they talk about. And yoga and meditation contribute to mental and emotional well-being, which is extremely important. Together with these, this approach offers a more comprehensive solution to promote both longevity as well as quality of life. Yoga for healthy aging, it is very much known now, and there are several studies which have come up. The effect of meditation, yogic processes in the process of longevity, and also without compromising the quality of life, how can you extend the quality life years together? Jiveta Sharada Shatam, that's what they say. uh, Ayurveda also. To me, if you ask me the right approach for healthy living, I would say that it's not necessarily through any medicine. Although people are saying that it is a disease and we can treat it, I thought that those kind of statements are really very. Uh, I find a hubris in it. Means we need not treat aging at such a level that it is disease and it is treatable. Ayurveda approach of Swasthya, or Vayasthapana, what they talk about. These are the gentle, natural, and more powerful approaches to address aging. And they should be studied in more details for their biology behind it, Ayurvedic biology behind it, what it is. And these will give lot of new ideas for modern research, and I must recognize the efforts of Dr. M.S. Valyathan, my mentor, who created this Ayurvedic biology as a completely new discipline, and JNU team is here. They are involved in this very, very effectively. Yeah, I am done. This is my last slide. Kaya Kalpa. This is not a myth. People may say anything about it. We can't say much. But if you go to Jamnagar, and Rajesh ji was vice chancellor of that university, they had created a kuti there. It's called Kuti Praveshik Rasayana. And they, the science, Ayurvedic science says that if you put it in the controlled environment with all lifestyle, diet, everything moderate, you can actually not only control but reverse aging. Earlier, people were not ready to believe in it, but now science also agrees that it is possible to reverse. We don't want to reverse in a sense that we don't reverse the whole clock, but at least if we are able to really bring more agility, more quality of life, that's modest requirement. I think it can be really addressed through this Kuti Praveshik Rasayana, what they say. And I see many of my friends from West, come here for 15 days, 10 days, go to some resorts for detox and all. These are all sub parts of it, But what happens there? Urmila Thatte did a fantastic study recently and published also. She actually studied effect of various Panchakarma on our physiological parameters, and several good results they have received. So this is a very exciting area for you to undertake. Cutting edge science will come out. So lastly, integrative approaches for healthy aging will come from conventional medicine, definitely, some component which is there, but mostly from Ayurveda and Yoga. And where prevention, promotion through food and lifestyle management, through mental health and through wellness, also come from modern science, through cutting edge technologies, including the immunological interventions or tissue and cell engineering or several others. And there are still other mechanisms also and still other means also we should not ignore, which could be not necessarily from Indian origin, but still they are considered to be effective in, be it Chinese, Japanese, or Tai Chi, or Qigong, or anything of that kind. So concept of Chiranjeevi we have in Mahabharata, Sapta Chiranjeev. What it is, Yeah, I'm amazed of the imagination. Forget about it whether they are real or not. But imagining something 5,000, 10,000 years ago, something like this itself is so profound. And it actually, this concept of Chiranjeevi transcends from mere physical longevity and signifies a life with purpose and service. That's what say. Bhagavad Gita will end, you started. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. That's what the real meaning of aging, reversing, longevity, whatever you want to say. But while we say that, we should not. I remember Carl Sagan, a pale blue dot. Who are we? And who is aging? These are the questions we should ask. Some of these questions, again, we have discussed in the book Genome to Om, which you see on the screen. So thank you very much. WHO has come out with the Center for Traditional Medicine, supported by Minister of Ayush, which is in Jamnagar, active now. And they have identified also aging as one of the priority area for research. Thank you, Raj.